Between One Life and a World, a legal philosophical reading of Avatar 3. The Avatar series has always been more than a science fiction spectacle. At its core, it is a sustained meditation on power, colonization, nature, and moral choice. In Avatar 3, this ethical inquiry reaches its most disturbing point when Jake Sully and Neytiri seriously contemplate killing Spider, the human boy they raised as family, in order to prevent the possible extinction of the Na'vi people and the destruction of Pandora itself. This moment crystallizes one of the oldest questions in moral and legal philosophy. May one innocent life be sacrificed to save an entire community? The dilemma pits individual liberty against collective survival, liberalism against utilitarianism, and moral absolutes against tragic necessity. Individual life versus collective survival. Spider's existence becomes a strategic threat, not because of anything he has chosen, but because of what has been done to him. Through Awa's intervention, his body undergoes a biological transformation that allows him to breathe Pandora's atmosphere without assistance. Once the human invaders realize this, Spider ceases to be a child in their eyes and becomes a blueprint, an instrument for permanent colonization. From Jake's perspective, the stakes are existential. If humans no longer require masks, Pandora will fall. The Na'vi will not merely lose a war, they will lose their world. In that context, the idea of killing one boy to save an entire civilization presents itself not as cruelty, but as grim responsibility. Yet Spider is not an enemy combatant. He is innocent, dependent, and loved. The moral tension arises precisely because the threat he represents is indirect and involuntary. The question is not whether evil should be stopped, but whether evil consequences can justify the deliberate killing of the innocent. Liberalism and the inviolability of the individual. From a liberal, rights-based perspective, the answer is clear: no. Liberal moral theory treats human life as possessing inherent dignity that cannot be overridden by collective calculations. A person may never be reduced to a mere means for achieving social ends, regardless of how catastrophic the alternative appears. Under this view, Spider's right to life is absolute. His death would not be a tragic necessity, but a moral collapse, an admission that justice itself can be suspended when fear becomes great enough. The very act of killing him would destroy the moral foundation the Na'vi are fighting to protect. Jake and Neytiri's ultimate refusal to carry out the killing reflects this intuition. In the decisive moment, they recognize that preserving their world by committing an irreversible moral wrong would hollow out the meaning of survival itself. Utilitarian reasoning and its limits. Utilitarianism offers a more unsettling answer. If moral action is defined by maximizing overall welfare, then sacrificing one life to save many appears not only permissible, but rational. This reasoning has intuitive force in emergencies, lifeboats, wartime decisions, public disasters. But the Spider dilemma exposes utilitarianism's most dangerous weakness. Once moral worth is measured purely in numbers, there is no principled stopping point. There is no. If one innocent may be killed to save 1,000, why not 10 or 100 when the stakes increase? Utilitarian logic struggles to explain why some lines must never be crossed, even when doing so would produce better outcomes. This is precisely why modern legal systems resist utilitarian justifications for intentional killing. Law is not merely a tool for managing consequences, it is also a moral institution that expresses society's deepest commitments about human worth. Criminal law and the rejection of necessary killing. Historical criminal law reflects this resistance. In famous survival cases involving shipwrecks and starvation, courts have consistently refused to recognize necessity as a justification for killing an innocent person. Even under extreme conditions, the law has insisted that one life cannot be traded for another. The reasoning is not naive. Courts have acknowledged the horror of such situations and the immense psychological pressure involved, but they have drawn a firm distinction between justification and excuse. Killing an innocent person may sometimes be understood as humanly comprehensible, but it is never treated as morally or legally right. Continental legal systems, influenced by German legal philosophy, have refined this distinction further. While they categorically deny that killing an innocent can be justified, they recognize that in extreme emergencies, it may be unreasonable to expect ordinary people to act with heroic self-sacrifice. In such cases, responsibility may be mitigated or excused, not because the act was acceptable, but because the actor's capacity for lawful choice had effectively collapsed. This approach preserves the sanctity of life while acknowledging human frailty. cruelty. It refuses to legitimize killing, yet resists turning tragedy into cruelty through absolute punishment. Jake's choice as a legal moral decision. Seen through this lens, Jake's near decision to kill Spider would likely be unlawful under any modern legal system. It would not qualify as justified self-defense or emergency refuge, because Spider is not the source of the threat. At best, it could be seen as an act committed under extreme moral duress. Tragic, comprehensible, but wrong. Crucially, the film does not allow this act to occur. By stopping short of murder, Jake avoids crossing a legal and moral point of no return. He chooses confrontation over sacrifice, resistance over moral surrender. This choice affirms a principle deeply embedded in modern law. Some actions remain forbidden even when they promise salvation. Environmental meaning beyond human moral calculus. The dilemma, however, is not resolved solely within human ethical frameworks. Avatar 3 introduces a radically different perspective through Eywa and Pandora's ecology. Spider's transformation is not a technological breakthrough, but a biological symbiosis, nature adapting a human who has lived in respect with its rhythms. This intervention reframes the conflict. The problem is no longer simply whether Spider should live or die, but whether humans can belong to Pandora without destroying it. Eywa's response suggests that coexistence requires transformation, not of the environment to suit humanity, but of humanity itself. From an environmental humanities perspective, this challenges anthropocentric ethics. The moral community expands beyond human societies to include ecosystems, species, and living networks. Killing Spider to preserve Pandora would paradoxically mirror the very logic of domination that threatens the planet. Eywa's solution points elsewhere: survival through integration, not extermination. Conclusion: the refusal to become what one fears. Avatar 3 presents a dilemma that law and philosophy have struggled with for centuries. It refuses easy answers. The film does not deny the terror of extinction, nor does it romanticize moral purity. Instead, it asks whether survival is meaningful if achieved by abandoning the very values that define life as worth protecting. Jake's ultimate decision to spare Spider and confront humanity directly echoes a foundational legal insight. Justice cannot be built on innocent blood, even in the face of annihilation. The path forward lies not in sacrificing the vulnerable, but in transforming the conditions that make such sacrifices seem necessary. In this sense, Avatar 3 is not only a story about war and survival, but a profound meditation on the limits of moral calculation, the dignity of the individual, and the possibility that true coexistence begins where violence ends.